Hey everybody, the question of the day. What does quitting look like? And I cannot think of a better person to talk with me today about quitting and what does that look like as a business owner and as a parent and all the things. And so I want to introduce you to my good friend, Emily Roberts, and she is going to teach and talk and just inspire you today about that subject. What does quitting look like? So Emily, tell everybody a little bit about you and share a little bit about your story.
What's up, everybody? I am Emily. I have been in this industry for well over 10 years, believe it or not, and I'm only 31. And something really cool is my mom was in network marketing. I had family members in network marketing. So fresh out of high school, I was introduced to it. Sounded like a great idea. It was something that I could do in college and as a waitress. And I got burned out and I didn't love it. It wasn't what I thought it was going to be. But turns out that I had a different aha moment when I became a new mom, and my husband was halfway around the world in Afghanistan. And I realized what better time to join the network marketing industry again when my husband can't tell me. I've been doing it wholeheartedly for 7 years, and I love the question. I love what does quitting look like, because that came to mind.
Uh-oh, breaking up just a skosh. Hold on one second. You're breaking up and your gorgeous face is frozen. Don't you love to freeze well? You are frozen well.
You hear me?
I can totally hear you. Ah, and there you are. All right. It is what we do.
Okay.
It's what we do as parents.
So hopefully. No, you're good. I pivoted. We're pivoting. So can you hear me now? Are we good?
Totally on it.
I'm moving this way. I think I'm just not connected to Wi-Fi. So can you hear me now?
I totally can. I do love that we're hanging out with some bras.
No. This is my spiritual gift of pivoting and relocating when Wi-Fi disconnects. So
it's a true story. So let's jump into the question. What does quitting look like? Like, what does it look like for you? Because you have this beautiful business that you built and then whoop, fell.
So I don't know if y'all heard me the first time because I was frozen, but when I think of the word quitting, instantly the word divorce popped into my brain. Okay. Because when I start something like a network marketing business or a relationship, I'm married to it, right? I want to invest in it and I want it to thrive and be full of love and right. And so if you quit something, you're divorcing that idea. You are just simply interested and you're no longer committed. And there's a big difference between those two words. There's a big difference between being interested in something and committed to something. So if you are someone that is a chronic quitter, it's time for you to quit quitting. And I watched this podcast, I listened to this podcast one time about quitting, and I was like, this is the most ironic thing I've ever listened to, but it made so much sense because most of the time we're the reason why. It's not outside interferences. It's not our kids' fault. It's not the company's fault. It's you. And the biggest thing about quitting is you've quit doing something you love. You are forcing yourself to do something that feels icky or like work or that doesn't align with you and what makes you feel comfortable. So quitting for me looked like this. It looked like less of my company's products and more of junky, sugary sodas. It looked like less podcasts and more Netflix. It looked like yelling at my kids and not tolerating my kids versus enjoying them and walking away from social media because I wanted to, right? That's what quitting looked like for me. And you're probably sitting there going, that's me. I feel attacked. Like, that's my life. And it's because it's a bad habit. Quitting is a bad habit. And you probably learned this bad habit in childhood or young adulthood, and it is something that has followed you now into this industry and into your business life. But the cool thing about habits is you can form new ones in 21 days. So in less than a month, you can turn your business around. You can actually start right now. You can realize and own, okay, I've walked away. I have divorced my business, but the cool thing about that is you can get back together and you can work on it and you can mend it and you can build new relationships and you can find new projects. You can do things that bring you joy.
Emily,
So,
absolutely. Yes. And to interrupt to think about this for a quick second, I always call that moment, that season, that transition, when you go from super excited, super engaged to it's like you become the Walking Dead. And all of a sudden the habits become exactly what you just said. Habits that don't support growth, habits that don't support joy, habits that don't support, anything that's kind of hard. It's easy. And we've all experienced this where you want to just be comfortable. So you retreat back into what's actually horrible, what you just mentioned, the poor food choices and the sitting around watching TV all day and the being angry and quick to, temper. Emily, as you think about the thing that really derailed you, here's where I want to share a little bit about what you experienced, because you went from this super incredible business that was booming, that was, the level of success, the highest position you can be. And so what quitting looked like was all of that junk behavior. What pushed you? And I know it would not push you the same way today that it did years ago. But what happened?
Betrayal. That's kind of the word I'm sitting on. What happened was I had built an incredible team, and something that I've always remembered, just hearing other experts in our industry say, the people that get you to the top are not the people that keep you there. And it was never something I took seriously until it happened. And I grew this, great foundation in business and new relationships that became full of resentment and bitterness and jealousy. And one by one, people decided they didn't want it if it supported my goals or dreams. And that was fine. They didn't have to. They could go and do as they please. However, my business went from the top to barely hanging on in the course of 3 months. And if you were in the Plexus world, that looks like 1,800 points down the drain in 3 months. That was a $10,000 pay cut for those that want the math. And it freaked me out. No, actually, it freaked my husband out. It devastated me. I sat in my husband's lap and wept over my business, over my choices, over my industry, over relationships. I was like, is this really happening? I feel like success gives you so many hits of dopamine. Like you're on that success high, and then it's like shoo, that rug is pulled out from underneath you, and all of a sudden you're like, I never want to do this again. I don't ever want to see this product. I don't ever want to see a person that has to do with this product ever again. And I was someone that was married to it. I loved it. Yeah. But then I didn't. And that is what started a downward spiral at first of quitting. And I didn't just want to quit my business. I wanted to quit everything. I wanted to quit life. I was so depressed and I was so down because I didn't expect it. And I think it's important to know that in business should be expected. Walmart has a customer service department because they expect people not to love everything. Same with Target, same with any place that has a customer service agency. Like they don't expect things to be perfect all the time, and they have people to accommodate that. For some reason in my brain and my unicorn happy land, I didn't expect people to be unhappy with my success. And so that turned it around and made me feel like I needed to hunker down. I needed to quit. I needed to be less than. And that is the exact opposite of what we're going to talk about, because that is not what you need to do. Right?
No. And this is where the question often gets brought up, because when you're in the valley of something hurting, and betrayal, or, you know, even just things that are a learning curve. And people come into business, especially in network marketing, and you come into business and it's a business in a box. It's already, so much of it is done for us. The part that's not done for us is the personal development part. And this is where, okay, what does quitting look like? And so you're in the bottom of this valley and you have that choice moment. So lead us through, where does the choice moment, what does that look like? Like, what's that language that you can then make that decision to actually start showing up again? Where does that pivot moment come from, Emily?
That pivot came from, you know, being two Ben and Jerry's deep on my couch and sitting there in self-pity and wallowing. And I got a message from a leader that was quite a ways into my report. She wasn't someone I was close to. She wasn't someone that I spent a lot of time with or even trained her, but she was a rising up person in our business. And she messaged me and she said, "Hey, your light's off." I was like, what? I was like, first of all, you live in Washington, I live in Texas. How do you know my lights are off? And she was like, you haven't done a Facebook Live in 18 months. You haven't posted on our team page in 18 months. Your light's off. And she was like, Emily, you're my lighthouse. When you're on, I know where I'm going. I know what direction to look to. I know who to go to. I know where I'm ending, and your light's off. And I mean, I just like lost it. I mean, all the goosebumps, all the feelings. And I'd never been told that before. Like, yes, as a mother, I'm my kid's lighthouse, right? They know where to find me if they're hungry. They know where to go when they need their clothes washed, right? Our teams and the people that looking to us to do the next thing, like, I didn't realize that I still had people that needed me. You know, it felt like everyone had left, but they didn't. I had a team waiting for me to, you know, rise up and come back. So for me, it looked like a 10-day fast. I needed to get right with Jesus. And I fasted for 10 days with my husband. Hardest thing I've ever done. Don't necessarily recommend it, but it worked very well for us. And from there, and I was kind of voluntold to go to this women's retreat, this leadership, personal growth, like it was called Alignment. And I went to this retreat, and I met with a mindset coach and somebody that helped me tell my inner child voice to shut up, because my quitting was coming from 8-year-old me trying to protect me and trying to put up weird boundaries, not necessary boundaries. And so anytime I felt, you know, oh my gosh, I think that person's going to go to another company, or, oh my gosh, that person doesn't like Plexus, I need to make sure they like Plexus, or, oh, I don't think that girl likes me, she's going to, you know, talk bad about me. Like instantly, like these weird guards would go up. And not that I'm a confrontational person, but I'm direct. And I lost that directness. I lost that confidence to just go straight to the source of what was bothering me. And I didn't know that was my childhood self stepping up to protect me. So I really, really think if you are someone that is not spending an ounce of time on personal growth or figuring out what is, I don't like this word, triggering you, you need to spend some time there. You know, turn the Netflix off and go look through some old baby pictures. Go through your yearbook, you know, your high school yearbook. Maybe remember, like, why am I this way? Oh, because of that one boyfriend? Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's a bad habit. Whatever it looks like for you, there's a reason why you habitually quit and shut down and avoid. And it's up to you to create a new habit and to decide enough is enough. And maybe it'll be a person on your team. Maybe it'll be an outside force. Maybe it'll be a family member that's like, yo, your light's off. Where you at? Where you been? And Aimée was even somebody that was like, hey, where you been? You've been kind of quiet. You're not a quiet person. And so now when I do trainings and when I'm talking to someone that's like, I just don't think this is for me. I don't know about this, or I'm not as invested. I'm not like you. And I'm like, whoa, are you telling me you're about to turn your light off? You know, have you ever sat in a room of darkness and lit, you know, the flick of a lighter, or you light one candle and how much light it puts off? It's, for me, I like to visualize like Christmas Eve services at church, you know, when everyone has their candle and they light all the way down the row. That's how I envision me turning my light back on. I'm lighting other candles so that we can put more light in such an already dark place. And moment
Yeah.
look like for me?
Emily, that is huge. There are so many layers to us as, humans, and as women, I so often see over the last 27 years in business that this doesn't just happen to some people. Walking through these seasons, everybody will eventually walk through a season like this, where something either personally or professionally throws you off, and all of a sudden your light is dim and you're not in alignment. And that's where I really appreciate, because we think quitting is leaving the business, or we think that quitting is, hey baby, we think quitting is, what does that look like? Well, it could be month 1, but it could be 10 years in. And that's where getting back to your learning, this is a learning process. And what I really hear from you is that you were open to the person that meant a lot to you. And when they reached out, good on them, because they were bold. That gave you an opportunity to then begin to reevaluate. What does this mean to me? Do I stay? And does that person really need those people that have left? Do they really need to be that important to me? No, because your core says no. That, I believe, is a process. And it takes us a long time to get to that place. But what I'm hearing you say is that you started disrupting your patterns. You started looking for new habits. You started different languaging, and you started showing up again on social media, right? It's huge. So if there was one thing that you could say, if you're feeling like you're just in that quit zone, that Walking Dead quit zone, that zone of, I'm just not shiny. I don't feel joy. I'm not engaged. What would you say that one first step or first couple steps could be for somebody to take that from you and get going on their own thing again?
I like to ask people, okay, what's one thing you can commit to? And for me, like getting started, like when my husband was like, yo, you got to do this 10-day fast. We got to clear our minds. And I was like, freak me out. And I was like, you know what? I can commit to drinking only water. I know I can commit to that. That's simple. Has nothing to do with anything else. It doesn't affect anybody else, just me. I can commit to drinking water, right? But then I went to this Align retreat, and I'm meeting these other women. And the number one thing I kept hearing was creating a schedule. So for someone that is a chronic quitter, you don't have a schedule. You are living off the cusp. You probably don't even make your bed, and you probably don't know how much water you drink today. So if you're someone that wants to turn that around and create a new habit, start making your bed. And it sounds so frivolous and silly, and you're thinking, why? I'm going to get right back in it. 1, it prevented me from getting back in it earlier than bedtime. 2, I realized I have some really cute throw pillows, and I am really great at interior decorating. That's a new creative outlook for me. Okay. 3, my kids were watching. They started making their beds. That was the less chores on me. I didn't have to go in that side of the house and make their beds. I could now take that 15 minutes of time and apply it to my business or to something else. So that one new thing that I could commit to, drinking water, making my bed, has now turned into, for the last 3 years, because all this happened for me in 2018, for these last 3 years, has completely turned my business around. Took me from 6 figures to 7 figures. Took me from a 1 6-figure income in my household to now a double jewel household. My husband is now at the top of the company too. All because I made a schedule. Because if you schedule time to do something, you're more likely to do it.
Yes.
Just as if you were verbally to say, okay, I quit. Okay, you're scheduling yourself to quit. Like,
yes.
Stop giving yourself permission to quit. Like, make it a non-negotiable. Like, every day I'm gonna make my bed. So this is what I did. I turned on. This is such a fun song. It's Andy Mineo. He's a fun rapper, but it's clean rap. He has this song called "Coming In Hot," and it's very popular on Instagram. I've seen it in reels, but that's my wake up song, because I don't need some like ocean sounds and seagulls when I wake up. I need a beat drop, right? I need a bass. So I'll be like, hey, Alexa, play "Coming In Hot" by Andy Mineo. And I'm making my bed, and then my kids come in there because it's loud and it's fun. And it's 6 a.m. and maybe the neighbor's waking up. Maybe they're making their bed, right? We're creating new habits for everybody. But that positive energy first thing in the morning shifted my whole family and our mindset. And now it's something that we do every day. And if that song's not playing, my kids know to now turn it on.
Yes.
And it makes such a big difference.
Yes, for sure. So, okay, Emily, we're going to spend some time in our next video and talk about stepping into your own voice and what does that look like. We're going to go through some tactical steps. And so I would encourage everybody to just keep tuned in to this next video, because really that's what happens next. People see that end result and they don't know that you were quitting. What did it look like? And how did you disrupt the drama? And that is how. It's the moment of, the proverbial come to Jesus, and then doing some extreme to get yourself out of that rut. And really, Emily, from the music to the making the bed to the just getting your body back on track, that's hard stuff. And looking back, how proud are you of that woman that went through that junk?
She's 57 pounds different from this woman. So I would say it's made quite the difference.
Yes. Yes. All the things. Girl, I appreciate you so much. I love having these conversations with you. I don't believe that we have them enough. There's this idea that people just wake up and, sell their product and build their business, and that it's this background that has to be told, the story. And so let's chat a little bit more about taking that next step and becoming totally your version of you. All right? I appreciate you. Thank you.